Hey there everybody, I am here with my Elite 105 review and rankings. This set is one of my favorite sets, for real. There is so many good figures in this set. And if you notice, I am missing the Braun Strowman figure. I don't yet have it. I'm probably going to get it because I do think it's a nice figure. Gotta have an updated Braun Strowman. Also, see here, I have the Chase Carmelo Hayes. This was a great find in the red gear. So yeah, glad to have the Chase in the set. Usually I don't get the Chase because I'm not one to go pay extra money just for the Chase. But definitely take it when I find it. And so let's give away some awards for this set. Alright, first up is probably the most important aspect because this just makes it look like the character that I'm seeing on my TV screen. This is the head sculpt. We're not only going to give away an award for the best head sculpt, but also the worst head sculpt. So let's start off with the worst head sculpt. I'm pretty sure we can all agree on this. It is the Johnny Gargano head sculpt. Hold on, let me get this camera to focus. That doesn't quite look like Johnny Gargano to me. I just don't think it looks like him at all. I don't know. Not very good in my opinion. Was not happy with the head sculpt right when I seen it. But for the best head sculpt, I believe it's down to 2. Alright, so let's be honest. The Carmelo Hayes head sculpt didn't quite hit the mark. I don't think it's that good. It was honestly second place for the worst head sculpt. And then you come over here to Io Sky. Io Sky, I think, is decent. I think it gets the job done, but it doesn't quite hit the mark. And I'm also going to talk about Braun Strowman. That looks like a great figure, and honestly, I think it's a middle-of-the-road figure. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's bad. Well, I do think it's good. I don't think it's amazing, but I definitely don't think it's bad by any means. I don't think it would have won any awards, and I also don't think it would have gotten any losing awards. So let's get into the best head sculpt. I believe this is between 2. This is between this Dominic Mysterio head sculpt right here. And let's take this off of Scott Steiner so you can see it. And that Scott Steiner head sculpt right there. I think both of these look just like the character they are trying to portray. But I'm going to have to give it to Scott Steiner. I just think it looks more like him than the Dominic one does. But they both look so much like the person they're trying to portray. Got the nice mullet going. I have no idea why this camera is not wanting to focus at all. But best head sculpt definitely is going to Scott Steiner. And let's go to the best accessory. We don't have too many options, but there is some nice little accessories in here. We have the Judgment Day shirt, which is very nice. We have the little whatever chain head thing that you put on Scott Steiner. That's a nice accessory. The coat for Johnny Gargano, and of course the glasses for Carmelo Hayes, and this nice fur coat for Carmelo Hayes. And that is the best in the set because you can really put this on anybody that has worn a fur coat. It's just so accessible. It's very nice, great material. So yeah, this wins it by a long shot in my opinion. Now let's get into another pretty important aspect, and this is articulation. How good do their joints move? Is it a stiff figure? Is it a loose figure? Definitely if it's on pine cone joints. For the worst articulation, out of these that I have right here, I'm not sure about the Braun Strowman. It's either between the Io Sky, because we know women's figures have little feet, and usually the articulation is not the best. But I'm going to have to give it to this Johnny Gargano. They put it on pine cone joints. What were they thinking? It's not, no, I hate when they put things on pine cone joints. It's very, very stiff. But really the rest isn't bad at all. But it's definitely between him and Io Sky for the worst. For the best, you would think it would be Dominic. But I can't quite give it to Dominic. I don't know if it's just mine. But these knees are about as stiff as it gets. These knees are absolutely horrible. Like, I can barely do it with just using my thumb. It's hard. It's very hard to pose around his leg because of that. Carmelo Hayes, he poses around fine, but I don't think he has any too special aspects about him that makes him pose around better than the others, but I like how this Scott Steiner poses. I think it is buttery smooth in all of its joints. I have never had a stiff part of his body. His knees are not stiff like the Dominic is. So I've had great experience with the Scott Steiner when it comes to articulation. All right, now I also do want to say for the Chase figure, I like having the Chase, but personally, I like the regular version more. He does wear purple more than he does red, so that's probably why, but I just like purple gear in general. So I think it looks a little better, like if definitely for the shelves, I think it looks a lot better. But let's get into these rankings. Coming in at last place, and I'm not going to include Braun Strowman in this because I don't have it in hand, so I can't do that. Coming in at last place is this Johnny Gargano figure. I was very excited for it when it came out, and then they put it on pine cone joints, and then this is the head sculpt. The gear itself is absolutely amazing. They chose an amazing gear, but head sculpt missed the mark. And yeah, don't put anything on pine cone joints or it's not going to be able to rank that high. That's just how it is. All right, next up, this is kind of a hard one. I'm kind of between either Io Sky or Carmelo Hayes, but solely off the fact that the Carmelo Hayes head sculpt kind of missed the mark. I personally think it's not that good. I mean, it's definitely not horrible like the Johnny Gargano, but it's not perfect. And I'm just going to kind of include these in the same thing. I'm going to keep the Chase back there, but those two are kind of blended together. I just wanted to show you guys that I did get the Chase. And in front of that is this Io Sky figure. It's a great women's figure. Women's figures always have kind of a disadvantage because of their little feet. It's very hard to pose around women's figures. That's why you don't see a lot of women pick fetting in the wrestling world when you're watching pick fetting. And now it comes down to easily the two best figures of the set, the two most exciting figures of the set to get, and they both did not disappoint, and I'm just very happy to get both of these figures. And I believe my opinion is different than most. I've watched a few videos of people giving their opinion on the set, and everybody said the Dominic is number 1. I'm going to put Dominic at number 2 and Scott Steiner at number... Oh, no, I'm dropping things. And Scott Steiner at number 1. I think Scott Steiner, this figure is just so good. It poses around nicely. So, yeah, that's the final ranking. I just think that the Scott Steiner figure looks just like Scott Steiner, and that's what I want in a figure. That's the most important asset. If it looks like the person on the TV, it's a good figure. Honestly, if the Dominic figure wasn't as stiff as it is, it could take out the Scott Steiner, but I don't know, man. That Scott is just so nice. But the Dominic, the attire is very nice. You can see right there, it's very colorful when you take that shirt off. Very colorful and purple. Very, very nice. So, yeah, there's the final rankings for myself. And I'm just going to kind of say where I think Braun Strowman would go. I believe Braun Strowman would go right here in the middle of Carmelo and Io. I think it's better than the Johnny, but I'm kind of in the middle for Carmelo. I'm going to get the figure, though. But, yeah, there's final ranking. Number 1 is Scott Steiner for this set. I really highly recommend getting almost every figure in this set. If you need them in this set, get it, because all of these figures are very nice. Unless, I mean, I guess you could pass on the Johnny Gargano, really. You could, but I'll see you guys on the next one.